East meets West in the second half of our Friday Night Football doubleheader with playoff implications looming large in McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The Stampeders have won 4 of their last 5, locked into a battle with BC for second in the West. The Ticats scratching and clawing, trying to deny a Riders crossover, and a big one tonight for them.
Well, it's that time of year where the line of scrimmage matters most and the run game starts to become prominent. And this for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, their newcomer to the lineup. This is game 4 for West Hills. Led all tailbacks in the CFL last week against Saskatchewan with 132 yards. He'll go head-to-head. They don't play against each other, but this is the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League in Kadeem Carey. And again, that run game so important this time of year.
100th all-time meeting between these two clubs. Calgary has won 67 of them and have not lost to the Ticats at home since 2004. And a nice start here on the return out past the 40. That's Philpott, a 32-yard return. And that is where Jake Mayer will get the ball for the first time tonight here at home.
Well, in his first start against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it's his 10th of his career in the Canadian Football League, 4-2 this year. But Jake Mayer has not started against Hamilton in his career. This is start number 1 versus the Ticats.
Crazy meeting earlier in the season. Bo Levi Mitchell was at the helm of that road win in overtime out in Hamilton back in week 2. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 41 for Mayer. And he'll hand it off to Kadeem Carey. Never a bad idea, and Carey plunges ahead just shy of his own 50. But an 8-yard pickup. Let's take a look at this Calgary starting offense, brought to you tonight by Expedia.
Yeah, a few weeks back they lost Derek Dennis at left guard. Josh Coker filled in, then he got hurt, and tonight it'll be Hugh Thornton. We'll take a look at that left tackle spot up front for Calgary, especially with the run game so important. There's Kadeem Carey, leading rusher. They do not have Malik Henry. Just signed a 3-year extension, but has an ankle, won't be available tonight. They'll play with Sean Bain there.
And they'll push ahead here, looking for the first down. Would be the first of the game against this Hamilton Tiger Cats defense.
Last minute scratch was Micah Johnson, taking care of some family business. Congratulations to the birth of his son. And Mohamed Diallo will play in his spot, former 3rd-round pick back in 2021. Simone Lawrence comes off the 6th game. He is back in the linebacking core, and maybe your all-star at free safety this year, Tunde Adeleke, in the middle of that secondary.
4 options to the right for Jake Mayer. 3-step drop. Now tries to find his running back, but that will fall incomplete. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, you talked about Hamilton and their struggles here at McMahon Stadium. The last time the Ticats beat the Calgary Stampeders here at McMahon Stadium, Facebook was being introduced.
I was 23 years old the last time it happened.
That's a long time. Maybe Simone Lawrence can change that tonight.
If anybody's going to help, but this is already a Ticats defense that's really good against the run, going up against the best rushing offense in the league. We got a very intriguing matchup here on a Friday Night. Mayer down the field, intercepted at the 45. That's going to be picked off. It's Hauser going the other way. And how about that start? 2nd interception of the year for Julian Hauser, and this is a big one for the Ticats. Tiger Cats defense comes up big early, and it's the defensive lineman dropping back, taking one away from Jake Mayer. Hamilton in business
Tonight.
Great start here for Dane Evans as far as field position goes, and they'll hand it off to Wes Hills. Takes a heavy pop at the end of a pretty good pickup on 1st down for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I'd like to welcome the entire network coming in and joining us after watching the Montreal Alouettes and the Ottawa Red Blacks earlier tonight. Montreal coming away with that 34-30 victory.
By the way, that's the 2nd interception of the season for Julian Hauser.
2nd and 4 after 6 yards to West Hill to get this game started for the Ticats. Evans drops back, sends one deep down the field, and that'll fall incomplete, but there's a flag at the 18-yard line. He was looking for Dunbar, working against Jonathan Moxey.
Well, that's exactly where the flag is.
You hold him up a little bit.
Pass interference. Calgary number 2. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, there's no question here. Moxie's going to grab him. There's Dunbar. Missed last week for personal reasons. Back in the lineup tonight. The Ticats need him badly. Good inside double move there. Moxie grabs him. It's illegal contact, which turns into pass interference because Dane Evans goes deep to him. Here's the pick to Julian Hauser and how they got the ball back after that opening drive.
Interception, a flag, and the Ticats knocking on the door of the red zone here. 3 options to the left for Evans. They'll hand it off, pushing through his West Hills, and eventually they wrap him up before he can get free.
Dane Evans has struggled, as the Ticats have, against the Calgary Stampeders. 0-2, but seems like the Dane Evans we're used to seeing, and I think what Hamilton was expecting over the last month. He's played a lot better. They've won 2 of their last 3 against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Saskatchewan last week.
Defense doing an excellent job in the second half of that game last week. Evans now 2nd and 6. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Hill stands in there to give him some protection. Now over the middle, down the field, and he misses Dunbar. Working against Moxie again. He went up to get it, but Evans missed him high, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, Moxie plays this really nicely because he's going to cut underneath it. He plays that press position where he can, if he wants to, get physical and jam. He's inside of the 5 yards, but watch him cut underneath and make Dan Evans try to put some air on it. Had to lift it over Moxie to get it into Dunbar, and just misses it.
So Hamilton will settle for a 24-yard field goal attempt from Seth Small. Leads the league at 90% so far this season. And he just calmly knocks that one through. So the Ticats on the board first, 3-0. I guess it could have been worse for Calgary. Turned the ball over at midfield. Managed to get the job done and hold the Ticats to 3. They'll have the ball back for Kadeem Carey when we return. Friday night football in Calgary, and this should be an intriguing battle the entire way tonight.
Strength against strength. The Calgary offense trying to, or excuse me, the Calgary offense rushing the football with Kadeem Carey and a little bit of Peyton Logan against the #1 defense against the run in the Canadian Football League in the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Now, they don't have Micah Johnson, as we mentioned off the top, but Mohamed Diallo can get it done and played a great game against Saskatchewan last week.
Low, hard, driving kick taken by Philpott. Brings it up the field, pushing ahead, and gets it once again out beyond the 45. A late flag in here, a little bit of scrum. On the Calgary side of the field, looks like cooler heads will prevail, and the Calgary offense will have a chance to get back to work here.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 91. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Isaac Demi-Berglund.
Cox is in the middle of it, and he's, all he needs is the guys up front, Ted Laurent, Mohamed Diallo, to eat up as much of the blocking as he can, and then they can scrape the linebackers to the football. But we'll take a close look at the trenches and which team is best able to stop the run tonight, because there's 2 great running backs going at it tonight.
2nd and 7 now for Mayer. 3 receivers, wide side left. That's where he's going to look. That's where he's going to throw. And he's got a completion for a first down as he gets it back into the hands of Jalen Philpott. 10 yards for Philpott.
Good throw and catch.
Chance for Mayer to settle in a little bit.
Yeah. You need that first couple of completions after the pick just to get rid of it.
Calgary now from their own 42. Carey over to the left of his quarterback. Now they'll give him the ball. Kadeem Carey working his way up to the 50 and a little bit further, stumbling ahead. It's going to be enough for a Calgary Stampeders. First down, 11 yards for Kadeem Carey.
Yeah, pretty good block off the edge to get Hauser, I believe it was, up the field. And once they get that block up the field, and then there's a lane inside here for Kadeem Carey, and then he'll string it out, use his quickness to bounce outside.
Logan into the game. He's got a huge hole. He's going to take it down inside the 45. And we talk about a huge battle between Calgary's ground attack and the Ticats run defense, and so far it looks like Calgary's come to play.
Yeah, and we wanted to watch Hugh Thornton too at left tackle, see how he was going to do, and he gets a nice kick-out block. Logan hits it on the fly, nice ground level. This is what the DBs are looking at. Whoa, he's got a lot of speed going.
Logan averaging 6.4 yards per carry. Remains in there now to the left of Mayer. They fake it to him. Now come over the middle. Wide open completion just inside the 30. Adeleke there to stop Trey Odom's Dukes.
So a couple of good runs for Calgary, and guess what happens? The linebackers are going to start to snug the line of scrimmage a little bit closer to just take that and take a look at the tailback first. So what does Calgary do? And Dave Dickinson calls play action. Linebackers snug up, we'll throw it right behind them.
Stampeders, after that early turnover, putting together a solid second drive here. Carey back in the game. They'll swing it out into the flat. It's Beggleton. And he's eventually tracked down from behind by Hauser. But everybody getting involved in the offense now.
Yeah, quick throw, back in a rhythm. Jake Mayer's got the run game going. So that interception early on in the first series, a distant memory.
5-0 versus the East so far this year for Calgary. Hamilton 0-7 on the road. And Tommy Stevens into the game. Pushes ahead, and that'll get them a first down. Calgary actually 7-0 against the East so far this season. Kadeem Carey stands into the left of his quarterback. Flush out of the pocket, has to get that ball away. Almost picked off, is it? Did he get underneath it? Richard Leonard on a ball that looked like Mayer was just trying to throw away, but Leonard made a play on it. And that'll be 2 interceptions for this Ticats defense. Here's another look.
Yeah, pretty good pressure from Julian Hauser. He has that early interception. Does he make the catch? I think he does. Hands underneath. Kept it off the turf.
Calgary has done a very good job looking after the ball so far this year. Not the case tonight.
Elroy Peters of Sherwood Park, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could win $1 million.
Ticats defense coming up big a couple of times. Just when it looked like Calgary kind of got things going on that drive, they come up and make another play. 3rd interception of the year for Leonard.
Great catch to go out and get that, but pressure forced the errant throw from Jake Mayer.
Dane Evans will start this drive on his own 14-yard line. Fakes the handoff. Now we'll gun it towards his running back, who come out of the backfield, and that one will fall incomplete.
Take a look at the second interception of this game tonight, and here's why. Pressure off the edge. There's Julian Hauser also from this side in Malik Carney. and they're just going to team meeting it back at Jake Maier. He is flushed out, throws as he's fallen away from that pressure. And Richard Leonard lays out to go get that second pick.
What a play. 2nd and 10 though now for Evans. Has a 3-0 lead on the road here in Calgary. In trouble, taken down at the 10. That Calgary defense smothers him. And if it is a Rimolade, that'll be his 6th of the season. Sean Lemon right in the mix there as well. He's got 12 sacks already on the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like there's Rimolade right there, and there's Lemon off the top. And then they're going to add in a 4th rusher. And here he comes. He just is a spy. It's Cam Judge to spy on Dane Evans. And as Dane Evans tried to escape, Cam Judge cuts him off and allows his teammates to get home.
They give it to Lemon. It's his 13th of the season, closing in on a career high here late in his career. Gallo will stand in his end zone waiting to kick this away with a 3-0 lead. Friday Night Football in Calgary. A bit of rain earlier today, but settled in nicely now. Logan, after a 42-yard kick, wrapped up around the 45, but excellent field position for the Calgary Stampeders. They trail at home 3-0. Welcome back to Calgary. For more on that man, number 12 right there. Let's send it down to Farhan Loyalty.
Yeah, guys, Stamps coming off the bye week, and Jake Maier didn't go home. He played some golf and spent a lot of time in the film room doing a lot of self-scouting. And he said one of the things he discovered was that he needs to find a little more consistency in finding throwing lanes when it comes to intermediate throws especially. And you saw that on his first interception. You know, he says he's only 6 feet tall. Dave Dickinson has talked about how he gets a few balls tipped every now and again, so he needs to do a better job of sliding to his left slightly, sliding to his right slightly. And he said to me that one of the players he spends a lot of time watching film on is a fairly young player, BC's Nathan Rourke. He said he really admires the consistency of his drops. It's something he wants to spend time working on during bye weeks and also during the offseason. That's going to be a big focus of his, just to create a little more consistency in his game.
Always important to have something to work on, right, Glenn? I mean, keeps you going.
Well, absolutely. And you know, he's got a good completion percentage, Jake Maier. And he's, you know, and to watch Nathan Rourke as a young guy says all you need to know about his 9 games before his injury. And some pretty optimistic news out of BC this week that he may be available before the playoffs. But you can see Nathan at almost 80% completion percentage and Jake Maier right behind him. But yeah, try to work on your game constantly. And he's figured out a way to maybe find some throwing lanes and throw it around the rush.
2nd and 3. Kadeem Carey stands in to his right. Maier, pressure up the middle, gets it away just in time. And it falls incomplete. Begelton tried to reach back for it, but he couldn't get there.
Cariel Brooks was in really good position on the inside shoulder of Reggie Begelton. Again, no Malik Henry in the lineup, so there's some younger faces for Jake Maier. Blitz and Hauser came around on a stunt, and Hauser providing the pressure, so Maier couldn't wait for Begelton to go to sort of a second spot. But real good position by Cariel Brooks.
Paredes will be called into work, or will he? Challenge flag
Calgary
has
is
been
challenging
thrown.
if there's pass interference on the play. We'll review the play.
Dave Dickinson, 7th time he used a challenge so far this year. 50% clip thus far.
Most coaches are around 50% this year. There's Begelton in the slot position. Now he's going to run that curl. Brooks on the trail. Inside position.
Jersey hold.
A little bit of grab on the jersey. Yeah, I think that's exactly what they saw when that first replay rolled. Was it enough? I'm not sure, but there was a little bit of tug on the inside of that jersey of Begelton.
And Begelton was trying to get back to that ball. If that held him up at all, I could very much see Dickinson winning this challenge. And Calgary not having to settle for a 44-yard field goal attempt from Paredes, who was 4 for 4 back in week 2, including, of course, the winner in overtime. Calgary going through the air here. On the ground so far good. Kadeem Carey, 27 yards on 3 touches so far. Let's get a ruling on an early challenge here from Dave Dickinson.
After review, we have pass interference. Hamilton, number 26. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Real good position for Cariel Brooks. He really didn't have to do this. He didn't have to grab Bagleton's jersey, but as we've seen many, many times, there he is again. There's Brooks, and many, many times we've seen when either the receiver is past the DB and he grabs the back of the jersey, or in this case, the front of it, and impede him back to the football. You're going to get the call, and a good challenge by Dave Dickinson gets a new set of downs.
19 yards on the penalty. We'll go back to Kadeem Carey. Carey spins, stumbles ahead, and he's picked up a good chunk of extra yardage, spinning off of tackles and pushing ahead for an extra 2 or 3 here or there.
Well, that's one of the traits of all good tailbacks, is just tremendous balance. And watch the balance here after contact right there. Carey keeps his balance. 1, 2, 3, another 4 yards before he's ruled down by contact.
That goes a long way towards a 1,000-yard season. He needed 51 yards to hit it coming into the game. He's at 32 right now. 3 options, wide side right for Mayer. Looks to the left. In a little bit of trouble now to the end zone. Touchdown! Drops it in there for William Longley as he holds on. And Calgary goes on top.
Not good for William Longley. He's been around for 7 years, all with the Calgary Stampeders, and this is straight experience because he's going to come out of the tight end spot. He goes down the sideline, but he sees Mayer in a bit of trouble and trying to buy a little bit more time by retreating, and he breaks off his routes and goes down into the end zone. Mayer finds him. Touchdown, Calgary. And a good challenge by Dave Dickinson because they were kicking a field goal without it.
Worked all right, didn't it? First touchdown of the career for William Longley as he hauls it in. Snuck in behind a defender, wide open. And Jake Mayer, after a couple of interceptions, has himself a passing touchdown. And an extra point there from Paredes. And Calgary on top, 7-3. Some words of encouragement there for Cariel Brooks.
Well, you know, Longley is a guy that, you know, his teammates love him. He's a guy that plays on all the special teams. See, he pushes to the flat here, and then watch him turn up. He sees that Jake Mayer needs to find an open receiver. He can. He starts to retreat, and just using his experience, Longley turns it up, finds the end zone, loses his man, and hangs on. Nice touchdown for 23.
First offensive touchdown of his career. Had a defensive touchdown back in 2017. But he gets involved in the offense here. And Calgary now maybe settling in.
Well, they've had 2 interceptions and are up by 4.
And they're up 7-3 with 2 interceptions here in the first quarter. In a game that's very weird because Calgary looks after the football. I mean, their turnover ratio is plus 22 coming into this game. The Ticats, 9th in the league, minus 20 coming into the game. So 2 opposite ends of the turnover game. And so far it's benefited Hamilton, but they find themselves down 7-3 here with just under 2 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Woods takes it. Burst of speed, trying to find the near sideline, and he's wrapped up and taken down just shy of the 25.
We'll take a look at this Hamilton Tiger Cat offense up front. Brandon Revenberg in game number 100 for him in his 6-year career, all 6 years with the Ticats, and There's Wes Hills at tailback with 132 yards last week, and they didn't have Stephen Dunbar available last week. They do tonight.
Hamilton starts in their own 26. Right up the middle. Good push ahead from Wes Hills. Physical runner, shades up Kadeem Carey in this guy.
Yeah, he is a beast and was a beast last week. 25 carries. More carries for any Hamilton tailback going back a few years now. But he runs, you know, he even described it as this week when we talked to him, he runs sort of out of control yet in control.
Is that something you can eventually dial in, or is that just your style moving forward?
That's the style.
Yeah.
But, you know, boy, I really enjoyed our chat with Wes Hills as he told us a little bit about his upbringing and one of his favorite running backs of all time, Gale Sayers. So I'm going to call him old school.
That's a good nickname. I like that nickname. Now they'll get it into the hands of Tim White. Taken down. Moxie got underneath him. White a little push as he bounces back up. Here's a look at this Calgary defense.
Yeah, Sean Levin's number 2 in the league with 12 sacks and turning back time. But I think key for Mike Rose and Derek Wigan inside is going to be to stop Wes Hills tonight. And there's Jameer Thurman. He's going to be the first guy responsible for doing it. Brandon Dozier, back before the bye for Calgary, had an interception in their last game playing at free safety.
Coming off a bye. Dave Dickinson said he would have rather kept playing. And they had the 2 byes over a 3-week stretch earlier in the season. And Dave didn't like those either, so he's not been a fan of their bye weeks so far this season. Defended well here. They're looking for Dunbar. And this Moxie-Dunbar battle I'm really liking here as we wrap up the first quarter. Dunbar, big target, going up against Jonathan Moxie. Came into the game with 10 knockdowns on the season. Calgary, after one, on top, 7-3 against Hamilton. Welcome back to the second half of our Friday Night Football doubleheader. Calgary on top 7-3, and we talked about the running backs right off the top, and both of these guys getting established a little bit here.
Yeah, 32 yards for Kadeem Carey in that first quarter. Just 19 yards for Wes Hills. I'm sure we'll see him with the ball a lot more. He looks pretty good in that first quarter, too. Just 3 carries from the backfield. But, yeah, you know, it's a Canadian Football League, so they're going to throw the football. There's no question about it. Usually it's about 75, you know, 25, 75, or 60-40. But at this time of year, you know, the line of scrimmage is so important. You got to establish it, get that run game going, and especially when your quarterback's struggling a little bit. 2 picks from Jake Mayer. He's got to settle in. That's where Kadeem Carey can help, and same with Damon Evans, who can't really find some traction yet.
Pomagala boots us away. Peyton Logan, after a 51-yard kick, takes it just inside the 20. Nowhere to go. Wrapped up immediately by Lawrence Woods. But there is a flag on the play back at the 40. There's a little chippiness here in this game so far, isn't there?
Number 91. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It's almost like both teams, or all the teams in the league, know that the playoffs are around the corner. It's kind of like that. I'm just saying.
Adiemi Berglund, that's a second unnecessary roughness penalty on him.
Calgary Stampeders, of course, fighting with the BC Lions to try and secure home field in the Western semifinal. That's still up in the air. The Lions will play Winnipeg tomorrow night.
Good playoff race is shaping up on both sides of the country. Mayer starts here on his own 10. He'll get it to Kadeem Carey. What a spin move. Cuts around another man, pushing ahead. And you almost want to give him the first down for the effort. I think he's going to come up just short, about 9 yards for Kadeem Carey. That puts him over 40 on the game already.
Yeah, we're going to watch Thornton and see how he played at that first start at the left tackle spot. Nice little kick-out block here for number 61. He's going to get up onto that defensive end. That seals that outside, so it's just one-on-one on the linebacker, and then that's where Kadeem Carey makes the spin move on Santos Knox.
2nd and 1. That's easy there for Tommy Stevens as he pushes ahead. No real pushback, and that'll be a first down for the Stampeders. Early stages of the second quarter here at McMahon on a Friday night in Calgary.
Yeah, that was confidence from Stevens as well, right over Hugh Thornton, left tackle on that short yardage play.
So no worries then, I guess, at left tackle.
So far,
yeah.
so far. I mean, we have seen some pressure from Julian Hauser, so we'll see how Thornton picks up the stunts and blitzes up front.
31-year-old. So he's got some experience in various levels of football. They've got a completion. Getting it back to Philpott. Second catch of the game for Philpott's got a carry as well.
Also work on the special teams, and he's an outstanding return guy, but nice little stutter step there to get up the field. Cam Kelly making the tackle.
Dave Dickinson said earlier this week, they got one here. They got one in Philpott. He goes, I think we really hit with the first round. Yeah? Yeah, I think so, probably.
Good shit. Good shit, Pete.
Now they'll get it to Logan, racing to the near sideline, forced out of bounds after picking up an easy first down on that play. 9 more yards on the ground for Calgary, and they are marching against this very good Ticats run-stopping defense.
Yeah, and there's a block down right there. It's Malik Carney who lines up almost outside, and the block down on Diallo from Thornton. So 2 key blocks there to get the outside for Kadeem Carey.
Drive started on the 10, up to the 39. Back to Logan, and he's hammered down, and a flag at the 45. It's Gariel Brooks. He's going to immediately put his defense on the table here and make a case.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 26. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
You know, I a lot of people, you know, watching both leagues are a little bit confused as to this new
too hard.
Are you allowed to tackle hard or not allowed to tackle hard? This sort of whipping, throwing action, throwing a ball carrier down like that they're trying to get that out of the game in both leagues.
Should they be?
I think there's a line in the sand for sure. That crossed it clearly.
First and 10, Mayer, wide side of the field. And back to Philpott again. Look, he turns and pushes ahead. Thrown down there by Leonard. And just shy of a first down. But Philpott heavily involved in this offense so far. 9 more on this play.
This is his best throw of the night. Jake Mayer steps into this throw. It's a wide side out. It's a long throw. You got to be on time with it, or Richard Leonard's going to go for number 2, and that time if he got it, he wouldn't score. He hog-tied and through. That didn't cross the line.
I still don't know where the line is.
I'm not sure every defender knows either. Especially when tackling quarterbacks are going to be more careful with it there because they're defenseless in the pocket. But the hog tie and throw a ball carrier down is they're trying to work that out of the game.
So it's
player safety
no longer
issue.
Take him down by any means necessary, I guess.
Well, you know, back in the old days, you could use those big shots over the middle too. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's true. First and 10, Hamilton 38. Mayer. And that one defended extremely well. Great timing from Jamal Roll, and he knocks it away as they tried to go back to Philpott once again.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was outstanding timing to step into this hit as the ball arrives and separate the receiver from the football. Well played, and strip the right hand down too, just in case. This is a good secondary in the back end. Those are all veterans back there for Hamilton.
9th play of this drive for the home side tonight. They lead 7-3. 3 to the left for Mayer. In trouble, taken down at the 50. Malik Carney had 3 last week, now has 7 on the season, and this is a big one as it pushes Calgary back.
Yeah, last week against Saskatchewan, he doubled his total, didn't he? I mean, he had 3 against Cody Fajardo and the Rough Riders. Nice inside spin move. That was on Julian Good-Jones. Playing with confidence when you can give up containment like that with an inside spin move.
Just the 14th sack allowed by the Stampeders all season, which is a ridiculous number. And now this will bounce out of bounds. There's a flag on the play. Ticats with a couple of interceptions in the first quarter, and they step up in a different way right here. Look out, here he comes. Carney, 7th sack of the season, getting home against Mare. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow with back-to-back evening matchups in an East versus West division battle. The Argos take on the Elks, followed by the Bombers and the Lions. It all gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific only on TSN. You're back to Vancouver. I'm going to be up in Edmonton tomorrow, and interested to see after I call the first game. That BC-Winnipeg game should be an intriguing one. Looking forward to that. Great Saturday night doubleheader. CFL on TSN. 9:30 remaining here in the second quarter. Ticats down 7. Dane Evans, that's just his 2nd completion of the night as he dumps it off. Sean Thomas Erlington gets 5 yards. Evans now 2 for 5 for 10 yards on the night. Quiet start here for Evans.
It is, but, you know, he's up against a very good defense. This is a defense that's allowed the fewest big plays this year. Any defense in the Canadian Football League. We talked about their give-takeaway category. They lead in that regard. Fewest giveaways.
And they allowed 2 points against Toronto. A couple of singles a couple of weeks ago before heading into a bye. 4 receivers to the right here for Evans. They'll hand it off, trying to push ahead on 2nd down. Doesn't look like they got enough in the arms of West Hills. Needed 5. Certainly didn't get that. That'll bring up a 3rd and short situation.
Jameer Thurman in the middle of that one.
3rd and 2. Not going to think about this. Donald Gallo will come out, kick this away. He's averaging 44.4 yards per punt this year coming into tonight. Logan waiting for it. Stands by himself just inside his own 30 as Calgary about to get the ball back with a 7-3 lead against a Hamilton team that simply cannot find a way to win here at McMahon. That kick, not a good one. It was a low snap. Logan takes it after a 44-yard kick. And he's hammered out of bounds just outside his own 35-yard line. Calgary Stampeders on top at home, 7-3 on Friday Night Football. Well, he's got one tonight already, and Carney last week, a nightmare for Cody Fajardo.
Well, he doubled his total. Had 3 going into that game last week, and defense just shut the door on Saskatchewan in the second half. Got the run game going offensively, and their defense came to play, and Carney's got his 7th tonight already.
Second-year guy out of UNC. Watching on right now. Mayer will start with 7.5 to go here on his own 36. Wide side of the field. Drops one in there. First catch of the game for Sean Bain, playing in Malik Henry's spot. And he'll go for 8 yards, and they like Bain and his ability to fill in when called upon. Not going to see a lot of them, but when there's an injury, especially to Henry, he gets called into duty.
Yeah, the defense that Hamilton is playing right now, Dustin, is forcing. It's a second long field out. Jake Mayers had to throw one to Phil Platt, that one to Bain. He's on the money on those long throws.
Second and a couple. Kadeem Carey is the play, pushing ahead. And it looks like on the spin after the tackle by Santos Knox, going to be stopped just inches shy of what they needed. And will this be Tommy Stevens territory? There's an injured Stampeder down on the field as well. That's a touchdown score tonight, William Longley.
Two real good middle linebackers in this game, and Javon Santos Knox and Jameer Thurman. And you know, you almost, with these two guys, it's almost like they're underrated, and that seems weird to say because they're veterans, outstanding players, and have been real consistent throughout their careers. He just steps up, Santos Knox, in the hole there.
Takes down a guy who's not easy to take down in those one-on-one situations.
Yeah, with that much space too.
A career high already this season for Santos Knox. 91 tackles coming in this, couple tackles for a loss, couple knockdowns. He's got sacked, he's got an interception as well. Now he's got Simone Lawrence back next to him.
And you know, I think part of the reason is they're not big talkers. Jameer Thurman, you know, not real big talkers on the field. They are always wanting to turn the attention to their teammates, but
Stevens into the game and powers through for a Calgary first down.
I mean, Santos Knox has 91 defensive tackles.
And 3 more tonight already.
And 3 more, and that's third coming in this week in the CFL. But again, we talk about the Darnell Sankeys, and he's having a great season in Saskatchewan, but some real good top quality linebackers in the CFL, and we're seeing 2 tonight.
Jake Mayer, 7 of 11 for 71 yards, a touchdown and a couple of interceptions. He'll hand this one off to Logan. There's a flag as Logan turns it upfield. Logan would have been his 4th carry. He's at 29 yards on 3 carries already. This one's a hold, though. It's going to be coming back. A little bit of a hiccup in this drive for the Stampeders.
Illegal block, hands to the face. Calgary number 61. 10-yard penalty will repeat first down.
First of all, let me show you how quickly Santos Knox runs this down. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, with just great instincts to scrape, beat the block inside, and get to Peyton Logan. There's the tackle. They're also holding to the field side of that call on Thornton.
First and 20. Mayer over the middle to Begelton. He lunges back to the 50 and hauls it in. It's his 2nd catch of the game. This one good for 12 and puts him in a pretty reasonable spot here on 2nd down.
Yeah, you think Jake Mayer is going to lean on Reggie Begelton in this game. He's throwing those wide outs, but he definitely wants to get those curls going and then get up on top of the Hamilton defense if he can with Begelton.
Second and 8 after the 1st and 20 and 12 to Begelton. Calgary from their own 50. A free shot here, far side of the field, back to Begelton. Pushing ahead, that'll be enough for a first down as he takes it inside the Hamilton 50.
We see a lot of teams do this when they have athletic defensive ends. Julian Hauser again dropping in coverage. He had an early interception, the first one of the game, the first turnover Jake Mayer threw in his first series was over there on the tackle on that out on Begelton again.
Some high praise for Begelton earlier in the week. Chatting with Jake Mayer, he said, Reggie Begelton might have the most on his plate on our entire team, especially offensively, with the role that he plays in the offense and the blocking that he needs to do for Kadeem Carey and Peyton Logan, and the fact that they can really move him all over this offense for the Calgary Stampeders. A lot to think about for Reggie Begelton, and he's a veteran guy who obviously handles that role very well.
Yeah, and if you're a young player, I mean, that's a great sort of teaching point. Like, if you're a young player learn the playbook, not just
So we
your
have two
position.
penalties on the play. We have offside, Hamilton. That penalty be declined. We have a major foul, face mask, Calgary number 84, after the first down was gained. We'll go back 15 yards from the 51-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10.
A lot to sort out on that play.
Well, the offside you see to the right of your screen, but the one I'm curious about is the face mask along the sideline here. That's Hauser.
Right there.
And clearly Bagleton has him, but it looked like Hauser also had Bagleton's face mask.
All right, so this has backed them up to the Calgary 44. And they'll get it back into the hands of Bagleton, and a nice tackle wrapped up and taken down by Leonard, or there could have been a whole lot more from Bagleton, but they get him involved in the ground attack here.
Yeah, after the penalty, it's a big play, and this is what you're talking about, that versatility. It's kind of like the Nick Dembski of the Calgary Stampeders. It's that guy that can do it all and come around on that fly sweep.
It's funny you say that, because I had Zach Collaros last week. I said, who are some guys around the league that you think can play that Dembski role? And he said, I think Reggie Bagleton's a guy who could certainly do that. Now here's Stevens trying to push ahead. They might have stopped him short here. Very effective in that role so far this season. Kind of wrapped up his legs and held him back. That's a very dangerous, I mean, we're talking the Dembskis, we're talking Braylon Addison when healthy, and Reggie Bagleton. Just such an additional weapon for your offense. A guy like Dickinson's got to love that. First and 10 now on the Calgary 54. Strong wind coming into the face of the Calgary Stampeders right now as the clock ticks down inside 3.5 minutes. Two receivers to the right, two to the left. Mayer thought about the left. He's got a bunch of time. Now he's going to be pressured. Dumps it off. It's Bagleton wide open. He turns it back upfield. There's a flag on the play, though. And that's going to be a hold against Calgary. I believe it's Philpott. And that's going to back them up again.
Great patience here from Bagleton, and then Philpott, because the play, I think, took so long to sort of develop.
Calgary number 85. 10-yard penalty. Will repeat, 1st down.
He was also on a curl right beside Bagleton, so they were both almost side by side. You'll see him to the left of your screen there, and then he just grabs him around the waist, grabs Jamal Roll.
Just ever so slightly, just a little enough to open up a hole there for Bagleton. And it seems like this game has been stuck in the middle part of the field for the last 5 minutes. Calgary gets up a bit. They're backed up again. 1st and 20 now from their own 44. They'll run a draw right up the middle to Logan, and he's going to be wrapped up and taken down. Santos knocks the first man there. Simone Lawrence in to help out and help contain number 20 on Calgary.
Jake Mayer this week talked about wanting to play championship-style football, and I'm sure that's what Dave Dickinson will say at halftime. Get rid of the penalties, guys. Make good decisions.
Inside 3 minutes in the first half. Calgary on top, 7-3 against the Ticats. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Friday Night Football in Calgary, and a low-scoring affair so far. Calgary Stampeders on top, 7-3. The 11th play of this drive, and they've moved the ball 13 yards up the field. I don't even know how that's possible. 11 plays, 13 total yards, and now there's 4 flags on the field at the same time.
Yeah, all kinds of movement before the snap here.
I guess I was kind of spot on when I said it seems like we've been in the middle of the field forever.
Hamilton number 48. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Cedric Wilcox coming over The Alden Darby trade from Winnipeg. In behind Jefferson and Jeffcoat with the Bombers. Fresh start for him here in Hamilton. 2nd and 10 now for Mayer. Logan in to protect. Mayer gets it away. Intercepted on the far side of the field, and it's Leonard again. He's going to take it down inside the 30 to the 20 to the 10, and you can give him a pick 6. Ticats go back on top. Interception number 3 for Jake Mayer. No flags on the field, and this time the Ticats take it home.
Well, he's been working those outs, but it's been against a different type of defense. That time, Mark Washington, the defensive coordinator for the Ticats, he dialed up a full blitz. It's 7 coming, including Cam Kelly, who adds in on the rush. So it forces a quick throw from Jake Mayer. It's underthrown, and goodbye. Richard Leonard takes it to the house. 64-yard pick 6.
Had 2 interceptions coming into this game. 2 more for him tonight. That one all the way back the other way. And the Ticats on top 9-7 with an extra point coming up from Seth Small.
Here's another oddity. 3 interceptions for Jake Mayer in the first half. And they're only down by 2 right now. Had the lead all the way up until that pick 6.
Ticats coming into this game tonight, 9th in the league in turnovers created. 3 interceptions of Jake Mayer so far tonight. The second one for Richard Leonard is a major, and the Ticats are on top 10-7.
I'd like to tell you what's coming up at half, but I'd rather be serenaded by Dave Naylor, just like you at home. Come on, Nails.
Speak for yourself, Kate. The guitar back out, and this kick is going to trickle all the way down into the end zone. What an interesting game we have. Calgary stuck in the middle of the field forever. Flags one way, flags the other way. And you're thinking, they're going to be able to push this thing down the field. And then this happens.
Watch Richard Leonard here after he gets the interception, and just the veteran move to lose the angle by the guy who's chasing him in Odoms Duke. Watch him. He takes a peek at where Odoms Duke was. Now he's going to widen himself out and then adjust and go right down the rail, and that ruins the angle for Odoms Dukes trying to chase him and catch him from behind. 23 with the pick 6, now has 4 on the season. He's going to mess around and lead the league if he keeps it up tonight. So Jamal Peters has the lead, by the way, for the Argos with 6.
Mayer gets the ball back again into the reliable hands of Reggie Begelton for about half of what they needed on first down, just over 2 minutes to play. Jake Mayer, 9 of 14, 92 yards, has that touchdown to Long Lay, but 3 interceptions here in the first half, and we noted it kind of right off the top. Levi Mitchell had a great game against the Ticats in that 33-30 overtime win.
Well, Dave Dickinson has allowed his quarterbacks, whomever it was, whether it was Bo or Jake, to work his way through his first half issues.
Mayer near side, first time tonight to Luther Hakunavanu. That's right at the first down marker, and that'll move the sticks for the Stampeders. Still lots of time here
for points,
at least get into field goal range for Paredes, but maybe even more.
Absolutely. Lots of time.
Gets it to Kadeem Carey. Carey midfield, wrapped up and taken down on the play. Diallo there to track him down from behind.
It's good hustle by the big man. Muhammad Diallo, 1 sack on the season, but I loved what Coach said about him. He's got grown man strength.
I'm still waiting for that to kick in. Down the field, completion, a big one, takes it inside the 40. Phil Potts got it for Philpott. 4th catch of the game, tied with Begelton for the lead for Calgary, and obviously developing some chemistry and some trust with his quarterback.
Well, this 2 minutes may be important for Jake Maier to stay in the game. I've mentioned Dave Dickinson hasn't been quick to change quarterbacks or go back to Bo Levi Mitchell if Jake Maier has struggled, but that was an outstanding throw into the middle, confidence builder, and one that may just keep him on the field.
16 yards of Philpott, empty backfield here for Maier. Dumps it off, no man's land, and he hit as he's taken down and got that ball away just in time. It was in the direction of Begelton, working there against Brooks.
And a couple blitzes now from Cam Kelly. And they add him in sometimes late. He'd try and hit it. Go ahead and run it, guys. You'll see him from the right of your screen. They see how he slid in there late and was added into the pressure so that all the blocks up front, the O-linemen were engaged. And Mark Washington has found something for Cam Kelly.
He's having himself a season as well. 5 interceptions, a couple of sacks. Maier, Logan, inside the 40. Kelly is there, wraps him up and takes him down. And that's a big tackle. That'll bring up 3rd down for the Calgary Stampeders with 66 seconds on the clock.
You know, that's a good drive for Jake Maier. I mean, it gets him in field goal range. A little bit of wind against Rene Paredes here, but a couple of solid throws and confidence builders for Jake Maier going in at halftime after 3 picks in the first half.
If Paredes can knock this through, just a 1-point game. Paredes in year 11, sitting at 87.8%. This one, and pretty much straight away, you can see the wind moving it back and forth, but he's got enough. And Calgary now trailing 11-10 at home here against Hamilton. NFL on TSN continues Sunday with a full slate of early afternoon matches featuring a showdown between the Steelers and Bucs. Catch Tom Brady in action as he faces off against first-round draft pick Kenny Pickett. Tune in at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on TSN. Tough spot for Kenny Pickett going up against Tom Brady and the Bucs. There's a number 12, Jake Maier. Lots to look at the first half that he's had. 40 seconds to work for Evans. Looking for a big chunk here. Drops it in at the Calgary 50. It was White who came back to the ball to get it. And all of a sudden, just like that, the Ticats in business with half a minute to work.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got 3, maybe 4 plays if they're real efficient here.
Seth Small will have the wind at his back, and he's got a season long of 58 already. Now they get it to Hills. He lowers the boom, and he's got a first down on the ground.
The other guy he said he looked up to, Wes Hills, was Gale Sayers, which I absolutely loved. How many, basically, young men in their 20s say Gale Sayers is their inspiration.
Not a number that's going to pop up and on the name there.
The other guy was Earl Campbell.
4 receivers to the left for Evans. That's where he looks. Over the middle, down the field. It's almost picked off. Probably should have been. Would have been the 3rd of the season for Muhammad, and a drive killer here for the Ticats.
Yeah, it should have been. He knows it. Not sure who Dane Evans is talking to. Must have been his receiver. He had 4 receivers to that side, and he had that. He just jumps the seam. He thought, I'm sure Dane Evans thought that Muhammad was going to go back there with Tim White on that seam route, but he just dropped off of that seam and cut underneath. The throw should have had a pick.
Into his hands, out of his hands, setting up a 46-yarder for Seth Small. And a timeout called by Calgary.
Timeout, Calgary.
And they'll give Small some time to think about this one. This will be from 46. 7 of 9 from 40 and beyond. 3 of 3 from outside of 50. So a couple of misses in this range so far this season. Calgary needing to call a timeout. Have one too many bodies out there. Reset for Small. That wind you see there is at his back, but it's gusting around up top. 46-yard attempts. And no problem for Seth Small as he knocks it home. And Hamilton's lead is 4 with 4 seconds on the clock. Halftime is literally just around the corner. Kate, Milk, Ches, Dave and his guitar. Make sure you stick around for that.
I wonder if Dave knows more than C, G, D, and E minor. Those are my 4.
I don't even know what you're talking about. No idea.
Of course, you could play almost any country song with those 4 chords.
That's all you need?
4 chords and the truth, my friend. 4 chords and the truth. Country music.
Just 4 seconds left here. Calgary, this is an interesting stat. When trailing at the half, they're 5-1 this year, which is kind of bizarre. Ticats, when leading at the half, are 3-5. Now here's Logan. A little bit of a bang at the end of the half. 17 yards for Logan. Calgary's ground attack is doing the job, but Jake Mayer, 3 interceptions, and his team trails 14-10 at home against the Ticats. Let's send it to Kate and the panel.
Hamilton Tiger Cats currently up by 4. What stands out, Dave Naylor?
In those first 4 categories, it's about 4-1 for Calgary in each of them. First downs, passing yards, rushing yards, net yards, and then we get to turnovers. 3 for the stamps they've thrown, interceptions. Hamilton's keeping it clean, and they've got the lead.
Richard Leonard with a 64-yard interception return for a TD. Here he is with Farhan.
Not a bad first half. 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. How good did that feel?
It felt good. We played as a team, and we just played together. That's all.
You got close on 2 previous throws that he made to that wide side on the outs. Did you know that third one that it was just a matter of time?
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I just had to be patient, and it was going to come at the right time.
They've had some yards, but you guys have managed to stiffen up in the red zone pretty regularly. Just how good is the defense playing at key times?
We've been on break. We just go play hard to the end.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
I know the Owls are on their bus ride home enjoying that win back to Montreal. Make sure Sassy takes care of them. Hey, Sassy, take care of the boys in the bus ride home. Don't be cheap. Take care of the fellas.
What can I say? I love that song. I love that song. Calgary's trailing the Ticats 14-10. Peyton Logan of the Stampeders is with our Farhan Lalji.
Peyton, cold weather, 51 yards rushing for you, 100 in the first half as a team. How good do you feel about establishing your running game here so far in this game?
I feel like we established it well. We just need to keep going, get our offense in motion, and then win the game.
Challenges for Jake in that first half with 3 picks. Do you feel you'll lean on the running game even more here in the second half?
I'm leaning on whatever coach calls. So if Jake needs to step it up his game, he gonna step up his game. I'm not worried about Jake. He gonna make the plays when plays need to be made. Me and Kadeem gonna make the plays when they need to be played too.
Thanks for this.
No problem.
Nice first half overall for the ground attack. 6 carries for 42 yards. Logan, 5 carries for 51 yards. And this is a Calgary team that comes into this game averaging 115 yards on the ground. They're well on their way to hitting that once again, and can work these interceptions out. You might still be all right.
So I take it half the panel was ready to go with Bo. They were making the quarterback change. The other half sticking with Jake Mayer. Dane gets the ball first.
Woods takes it just inside his own 40, all the way back out, just shy of the 50. So decent field position for Dane Evans, who threw just 7 passes in the first half of this game.
Yeah, now having said that, I don't think he has to get back there and start slinging it. You know, to me, what was so successful last week against Saskatchewan was getting 34 established. Wes Hills running the football.
Hills with 33 yards so far tonight. Last week, Evans was just 11 of 24, just over 200 yards and a couple of interceptions. So they did basically win that game on the strength of the play of Wes Hills in the ground attack. Evans, deep shot here early, drops it in there. That's a big completion down to the 30. Felix Garon-Gauthier, of all people, down the field. Nobody picked him up, and it's a 33-yard gain for the Ticats.
Yeah, these are kind of plays that work, you know, once a game or once every couple of games where you work it in the tight end. You fake it to your tailback. You know that Calgary was going to probably saying defensively, you know, they're going to go back to Wes Hills. So let's be ready for that run. They go to play action out of the gate.
6th catch of the season for Gauthier. Evans steps up, looks down the field, has a completion to White. Almost looked like he was going to stay in bounds, but does go out at the 10.
You know, Dane Evans really helps Tyrone Riley, the tackle here, working on a Ramalade, because he's going to step up and climb the pocket. Watch him step up inside so that tackle can take the defensive end wide and then throws a strike.
Hand it off to Hill, pushing ahead, takes it down inside the 5. Wrapped up there and taken down, and a nice drive to start the second half from the visitors.
Yeah, Tommy Condell going with play action on the very first play, sneaking the tight end basically out of there, uncovered on a deep route just to get a little action going, a little traction from their offense, and now if they can finish this drive, good start to this second half.
Hills will stand to the right of his quarterback, Evans, in the shotgun here. Working from the Calgary 3, Hills pushing ahead, lunging towards the end zone, and stopped just short.
Yeah, I think the knees did touch before the ball. Ball be very close. This would be a great look for it. Well, he gets that pad level low. Knees down before the ball crossed the plane. It did eventually cross it.
Ticats look to finish 3rd and goal. Evans pushing ahead, and he's in. Touchdown, Hamilton. 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Evans. And they come out and make a statement to start the 3rd quarter on the road here in Calgary.
Well, when you looked at the stats from the panel on at halftime, and you saw just the time of possession advantage for Calgary, you know, the only stat that was really in Hamilton's favor was that turnover ratio, and make a couple of adjustments at halftime, come out offensively and score on drive number 1 in this second half.
5-play drive, just over 60 yards. Ticats fans excited with what they're seeing for the first time in a long time. Of course, we've seen some strange finishes for the Ticats here in Calgary. This is a team with a lead that hasn't won at McMahon since July 4th, 2004. We've got a long way to go. 3rd quarter just underway.
Really is a game of adjustments, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Tommy Condell comes out slinging it. He goes to his tight end on a deep crosser. That's a 33-yarder on the very first play of this second half. Hamilton gets this throw from Dane Evans to Tim White, and then finishes it off with Evans on the quarterback sneak. 69 yards, 5 plays, 33 yards. The long play to Gauthier, and 7 points on the board for the Tabbies.
Philpott on a deep kick takes it just inside his own 5. Back up to the 20. And gets to the 30 before he's forced out of bounds. Jake Mayer, a first half that he will want to forget and move forward here in the second.
Yeah, he took that halftime break to flush this. That's what you got to do mentally. That was one of his first throws of the game to Julian Hauser. Great play by Leonard on his first pick. And then a little bit behind on an out route. And a full blitz with one-on-one coverage. And Leonard takes it back to the house.
Mayer had 4 interceptions on the season coming into this game. 3 more here tonight. And they'll start with the handoff to Kadeem Carey. Taken down. Diallo, I think, originally tripped him up, and now he's down on his back, and they're calling for a trainer. Kadeem Carey in that first half, 42 yards on 6 carries. 3 yards here, sets up a 2nd and 7. Closing in on a 1,000-yard season. 6 more yards is what he needs. He's been very consistent for this Calgary offense.
Well, not only leading the league, but in total yards, and he'll be the first tailback to 1,000, but he's also leading in those big plays in the running game. The plays that are over 20 yards are considered big plays. He has 11 of them coming in tonight. And average yards rushing per game, up over 70.
For more on Kadeem Carey, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, guys, a bit of a surprise that he's out here for the very first play. We were actually told at the end of halftime that he was not expected to return with a lower body injury. We were actually hoping to interview him at halftime, but he was spending time on the trainer's table. We saw him on the bench. He was spending time on the bike, working with trainers, getting it stretched out, and here he is, wanting to go.
Well, the one thing that they have going for them is they got a great 1-2 punch. I mean, we've seen Logan so far tonight maybe get a little bit more work because Carey possibly a little bit banged up there in that first half. Peyton Logan averages 6.4 yards per carry. Even when they had Dietrich Mills in earlier in the year, he was over 6 yards per carry as well. So this is a team that can run the ball extremely well, and we'll see if they can establish that even more so here in the second half of this game. We will be back to McMahon in Calgary. "25 seasons of Friday Night Football. Who has the longest fumble return in Ticats history?" That's your question tonight for Friday Night Football.
Calvin Tiggle.
Did you Google that? No. Here's Bain on a completion, and that will be enough for a first down. Diallo was up and helped very gingerly off the field.
Yeah, I think Chris Malumba played that last snap for him. It was friendly fire on Diallo. It was Simone Lawrence who hit his own teammate trying to stop the run. Again, no Micah Johnson tonight.
Now they get it to Philpott. What a move, and he's going to take it inside the 50 and further. Down to the 40, 35. Forced out of bounds eventually by Adeleke, but what a play and what a move along the way for 32 yards from Jalen Philpott.
Yeah, you coach the X's and O's, you coach this part. Okay, you got it now, he's got it in his hand. You don't coach that part. Just that part now, he's got the ball, it's up to him, and watch what he does to Brooks here. Puts that left foot, plants it hard in the ground right there, and then back inside, and Brooks is grabbing an air.
See you later, off to the races. He's got 35 yards on 2 carries so far tonight. They work from the Hamilton 35. Mayer thought about it wide side. Now he's going to move to his left, has a ton of room, and he'll slide just inside the 30. So Jake Mayer maybe thought about going to that far side, didn't he?
Yeah.
Hesitated.
Yeah, he did hesitate, didn't he? Because that first half, he threw a pick six on a very similar throw from the hash mark to the wide field, on and out, and he went, no, I'm not going to. There's a defender way too close to that one. He just got what he could. He looked at it. Nope, there's a guy jumping. Forget it. That was a great shot, too, to see him, what he saw.
Got 6 yards on the scramble. Now he's going to dump it off, but there's a flag. He gets it into the hands of Dukes. Dukes to the far side, cuts it back in. Nice move. But there's a flag back just outside the 40, and that's going to be coming back here, a hold.
Calgary number 61. 10-yard penalty. Will repeat second down.
Hugh Thornton, the left tackle, got caught on the hold.
There's your left tackle. I believe he's going one-on-one on Malik Carney here. Good hands. Oh, then he grabs the shoulder pad and just drags him to the ground. No question holding there. Oh, wait a minute. Back in college, we used to do that all the time. I don't understand.
He's trying to make a case for himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not going to change anything.
Yeah, it's not. We've seen a bunch that this year that have been very close that have been called. That wasn't one of them.
He was south of the border from 2013 to 2017. Then he retired, came back into that AAF back in 2019, and now has found his way here to the Calgary Stampeders. And at the age of 31, drawing in as the left tackle.
Well, he grabbed the shoulder pad and jersey of Carney there and just yanked him to the ground. He's a little slow getting up after it.
Yeah, he was down, and then he got back up, and then he went back down, took a knee again, and now the trainers will walk with him off the field. Sets up a 2nd and 14. Calgary almost at 100 yards and penalties in this game. They've been a team that's been pretty disciplined so far this season. It hit a little bit so far tonight.
Third left tackle. Derek Dennis, Josh Coker both went down. Now they do have Bryce Bell over there on the sideline as their extra offensive lineman.
From the Hamilton 39, 3 receivers, wide side right for Mayer. Looks to his left now, dumps it off. Sindani just shy of the 30. Santos Knox. Simone Lawrence. There to shut him down.
On a sandwich. The first guy to him's got to be outside shoulder. That was Jamal Roll. Because the teammates like Santos Knox are coming from inside out.
Paredes 1 for 1 tonight. This one a little bit closer, just inside the 40. And Paredes with the smooth stroke knocks it through. And Calgary is within 8. We'll have a little bit more on Dane Evans when we return to McMahon. There's a look at the work of Dane Evans over the last 3 games. Couple of wins, that 5 TD game against Winnipeg. For more on Dane, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Dustin, most quarterbacks want to play. They chafe at the notion of a 2-quarterback system. Dane Evans actually doesn't hate it. In fact, he certainly enjoyed it when he shared the job with Jeremiah Masoli. And he says sometimes it is better to be able to share the burden. He says that he and Masoli supported each other so much that it really made it difficult for him at the start of this year when he had to carry all of that on, including the leadership piece. Because really, while they shared time a year ago, he felt that Masoli was the clear leader and that his words carried so much weight. And when he had to have all of that on him and have to navigate that of an exclusive starting quarterback, that was a challenge for him. He's generally not a vocal person, so having to have that leadership piece was something he had to work through. It took a while. He says he's in a much better place in that regard and now feels like he can finally actually lead this team as long as his performances can match.
Well, if it doesn't come natural to you, it take a little time to work on it, right?
Yeah, it's not that you can't.
Near near side. A heavy hit, and that falls incomplete. Looking for Anthony Johnson, but Brad Muhammad was there to make sure that catch was not going to work.
Yeah, Muhammad was mad because he had an interception in the first half that he dropped, and he's in there now taking it out on Johnson here because that ball was thrown right where Dane Evans wanted it to be thrown. Timing pretty good, too.
That sticks with you for quite a while, doesn't it? Dropping an interception.
Take it out on the receivers.
2nd and 10. Crowd's trying to get behind this Calgary defense. 3-man front from that defensive line. Evans steps up in the pocket, down the field. Oh, Dunbar gets blocked, but he hangs on. Dunbar's first catch of the ball game.
Well, and Evans on the throw protects his star receiver with a throw right to the 8. Thurman is right here. He's going to drop back and put the hit on him from the middle, but because it's right inside and low and in that stomach, Dunbar can protect himself.
Pressure from Calgary this time. Evans gets it away quickly. And that's wrapped up. Dunbar nowhere to go. Muhammad was there to wrap him up. There's a flag in the secondary. One more look at this hit.
And, well, it's a great throw to step up and throw it into that midsection, because if that's a high throw or behind him or out in front of him, Jameer Thurman puts a huge shot on Dunbar, and he probably drops it.
Hamilton, number 57. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Brandon Revenberg playing in game 100 of his Canadian Football League career. Caught on a hold here. That'll back the Ticats up with about half of the third quarter still to go.
Yeah, that seemed to go fast, didn't it? Those 100 games for Revenberg. He's been a great guard for Hamilton for 6 years now.
3-time All-Star.
And yeah, but I really, coming into the game, I had to double check that because I look at Revenberg sort of as a young all-star, like but a young guy still.
Third overall pick in the 2016 draft, playing game 100 here tonight. His team facing a 1st and 20 situation. Evans, far side, dropped. That's his running back, Wes Hills, wide open. Probably should have had that one.
Yeah, I'm, based on what I saw last week, however you can get him the ball, and he wants this one back, obviously, but however you can get him the ball, He took a peek there.
He did, didn't he? He was ready to go.
But at the same time, I think they can still feed the rock to Wes Hills, and if he's good, he falls for 3 yards.
7 carries for 42 yards. Put out a decent chunk through the air there. Evans now. Remalade trying to get in his face. Dumps it off to the 50, not much further. 11th catch of the year for Ternowski, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
This is a place on the field, though, where the punter has a little more pressure. You think of all the, the 2 kickers, the most pressure, of course, the field goal kicker, but they're going to try a long one here. There is a pretty good win at the back of Seth Small, and they have to win this quarter, so trying a long one here.
His long on the season is actually 58. This one from 57 on 3rd and 11. A deep shot from Seth Small, and he's got it with room to spare. What a kick from Seth Small. Knocks it home from 57 with the wind at his back. And the Ticats lead 24-13. Monster shot from Small. It's answer time, Friday Night Football.
I got it. Steinauer. Orlando Steiner. No. Hang on. Mumford. No. Eric Norwood.
106 yards.
Look at the piano. You see the piano? That's a defensive lineman.
Attached to his back there?
Oh, yeah. That last 30 was tough. It was like climbing up the stage to stands here tonight.
Oh, my goodness. We need an elevator repairman to McMahon before the end of the game.
Wow.
I don't even like walking down the stairs here, let alone having to come up.
Yeah, that was a little break after that. But Norwood, longest Hamilton fumble recovery for a touchdown in Friday Night Football history. Friday Night Lights.
Bagleton, his 5th catch. I guess that would have been 9 yards.
Stampeders are fighting for home field here, and in the semi, and they need to get their offense in gear here.
Mayer, 153 yards, a touchdown, 3 picks. They'll get it to Kadeem Carey. Boy, he tried, but there was simply nowhere to go. Eventually finished off by Mulumba.
Just gap cancellation. That's what it is. It's the A gap, the B gap. Cancel those gaps. That's where Carey wants to go. A and B strong. And by the way, it's the same going the other way. It's just A and B weak. No gap.
Back to the line of scrimmage, no further. 2nd and 10 here for Mayer. 4 options, wide side right. That's where he's going to throw. Lunging there, trying to haul it in was Bagleton. Just shy of what they needed, but a big catch to put them in 3rd and 1 situation.
Yeah, and a chance for Dickinson to decide to actually go for it here. The throw is what brings Bagleton back, and really Jake Mayer has to make this type of throw on the outside shoulder. Look how close Cam Kelly was. He was breaking inside out. If that ball is anywhere near sort of the body of Bagleton, it's an interception. He threw it outside. Bagleton pulled it in.
3rd and 1. Tommy Stevens time right here to keep this offense on the field. He will push ahead, a little jump, got to the 50, which is what he needed.
Close.
And that should be enough.
Don't jump.
For a 1st down. Ticats are saying that they stopped him.
Oh, they're going to measure it.
Yeah, but if that ball is where it, and that should be enough. And they do signal a 1st down on the field for the Calgary Stampeders. Let's get an injury update on the sidelines of Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, guys, not good news for Hamilton along that defensive front. Mo Diallo, you saw him with the extended injury on Calgary's last offensive series. He will not return to this game, so you combine that with Micah Johnson not being in this game, and you're going to see even more of that Calgary running game here against a weakened Hamilton front.
Tough pill to swallow there if you're Diallo. Friendly fire from Simone Lawrence taking you out of this game. And Mulumba, we've already seen him involved. 2nd-year Ticat gets an opportunity to step in.
They also have Mason Bennett that can play in there, either at end or inside, and Malik Carney can play a little bit inside as well.
So a few guys you can move around here. 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 50. Mayer, empty backfield, near side, has Logan. Logan hauls it in. Lawrence wraps him up. A decent chunk on 1st down. 2nd and very manageable here for this Calgary offense.
So yeah, you would expect, you know, there's Big Ted Laurent. He's still a veteran anchor in the middle of that D-line.
Hauser having himself a heck of a season. Interception here tonight, his 2nd of the year. Mayer down the field, and that's hauled in just outside the 20. What a game for William Longley. Had the touchdown earlier, and a big play here as well.
Well, look how locked in Santos Knox is right here on Peyton Logan. He is locked in and on Longley, and he's got to go and get to Longley and he's in a chase position because he's looking in at Logan, making sure there's no run, and then he's got to go and find long leg down the field on that short corner route.
Look at that. That looks warm.
Now we need to bring the guitar in.
Around the old campfire. Here's Mayer near side. Gets it to Philpott. Philpott down to the 15. Lowers his head. Pushes inside the 10. Some hard yards after the catch from Jalen Philpott. 14 yards.
Yeah, I think there's, it's time where I think the Calgary Stampeders offensively and Dave Dickinson, the play caller and game planner, can start to lean on 85 a lot more. You get close to the playoffs, he just seems to make things happen when he gets the ball in his hands.
Been a nice progression throughout the year. They worked him in slowly,
ease him in,
now they release him.
Absolutely.
Mayer looks to his left, throws to his left, has a completion, lunging towards the end zone, and they're in. Touchdown! First of the career for Trey Odom-Dukes. He wanted it, didn't he?
He was asking the official in the corner, come on, give it to me. I'm the new guy. Come on. Let's take a look. He ran a nice route. I saw it live. It was a nice timing out. Gets the cone. Yes, he does. All you have to do is touch it. Now he's looking at the official. Come on. Let's show him. This is a good throw and catch. He's got the out route there on the inside on Brooks. Come on, give it to him. Let's see. Does he? Come on. Come on, ref. Come on, ref. There it is. There it is. Come on. There you go. Talked him into it.
Kind of looked up, put the arms up, nice smile, like, give it to me, man, give it to me. And he got it. Special one for Dukes. First-year Stampeder out of South Florida. And that is knocked home, and we've got a 4-point game here in Calgary late in the third quarter. What a huge drive for the Stampeders.
They had to have it, and it's good to see Trey Odom-Dukes getting involved. I mean, this is a big guy. He's a big target, 6'3", 215 pounds. Played great throughout practice, and Dave Dickinson, this entire team felt like he could really contribute, especially with Malik Henry out of the lineup with that ankle injury. They played Richie Sindani in that spot for a couple of games. Odom-Dukes had a chance 3 weeks ago against BC, only had 1 catch. 4 weeks ago against Edmonton, had 4.
Is that a real baby? It almost looked like a fake baby.
That's a real baby.
It's late. What time is it? That kid's partying tonight. Picked the right game to come to. Hamilton looking to snap an all-time slide here in McMahon. Save that one for Dukes.
First TD. There you go.
It's into the wing. They drop it in there short. Ball around, and it's picked up and brought back the other way. My goodness, what a play. That worked out perfectly. Middlemost slid in, scooped it up, and took off. And Calgary takes the momentum back again.
Yeah, special teams have to be alert into the wind, because on a kickoff, if you skyball it, that ball is live. And that bounce goes right back to Tyson Middlemost. He catches it in stride, and away he goes. That's a live ball after 10 yards. And well kicked. Sky ball. Really not a sense of urgency for Hamilton. I'm not sure if they knew it had traveled the 10 yards.
And now Calgary looking for more, trailing 24-20. They'll hand it off to Dean Carey. Hammered and taken down at the 15, but that will put him over 1,000 yards on this season. First to get there in the CFL this year. And buckle up, we've got a huge fourth quarter coming up from McMahon Stadium. Calgary Stampeders trying to claw their way back, trailing by 4 to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Friday night football in Calgary. Stampeders down 24-20 right now, but they just put up 10 points into the win, and it seems a little bit of a shift here in this game right now.
Oh, big time. Old Mo is now a Calgary Stampeder. Momentum, I'm talking about the 8-play, 70-yard drive that ends in a touchdown that Jake Mayer and the offense really needed. They get that, and then that huge special teams play. Mark Killam again drawing it up, the sky ball. It's a design play. Rennie Paredes with the great kick, and Middlemost catching it on the hop gets their offense back on the field right after that long drive. So it's the way the special teams can contribute and steal in momentum.
Now they can, if they can finish this, they will take the lead. Peyton Logan in the game behind Mayer. They'll give it to him. Trying to kick it outside. Nowhere to go. He's eventually taken down by Santos Knox, who's all over the place so far tonight. That's his 8th tackle, tied with Leonard for the team lead.
This is a big down in the game. Hamilton needing this to stop there and get it with stringing this one out. You know, the Stamps are depending on Logan's speed to get him outside, and they couldn't get him outside because of a good play up front. Settling for a field goal after that Middlemost play on special teams is a win for the defense.
26-yarder for Paredes, and he puts it home, and we've got a 1-point game at McMahon. Hamilton did decide to give Calgary the win here in the 4th quarter. Let's remember that as we work our way the rest of the way through this game.
There's 1,000 yards for Kadeem Carey. He gets there, first tailback to do so this season, 1,001. Grady Oliveira will play tomorrow night in BC, along with James Butler.
A couple more cracks at it for those guys as well.
Absolutely.
Kadeem Carey, of course, missing some time this year as well. He's really had just a phenomenal season. This is a Hamilton defense that's allowed less than 80 yards on the ground so far this year. Calgary's already at 170 tonight. When they want to run the ball, they can run the ball with a bunch of different guys. Here's Evans. They'll hand it off. Thomas Erlington wrapped up, got away from one man, but they slowed him down enough. Just a couple of yards on that first down pickup.
Well, and you know, just to reset, the Ticats need this game. I mean, they absolutely have to have it. They're in a playoff race with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The win tonight, if they can hang on and win this one in the 4th quarter here, they'll tie Saskatchewan, which means they own the crossover position, that 3rd position in the East. Huge game for them.
If they lose it tonight, Riders' magic number sits at 2, near side. And that is held on to, and an excellent effort there. First catch tonight for Durant.
Have to be a disappointing season for Lamar Durant. I mean, a guy that a couple of years back in BC had almost 1,000 yards, and it looked like his trajectory was straight up, and really struggled this year. He's just 10 catches for just under 100 yards coming in, and just been on and off the roster. Injured.
Was here in Calgary up until 2018. Had 8 career touchdowns as a member of the Calgary Stampeders. 3rd and 1. Up 1 from their own 49. And the Ticats set to kick this away with Domagala.
Respect for that Calgary defense from Orlando Steinauer.
Jumps up, brings that ball down. Decent kick. Logan takes it just inside the 20. 43 yards. Stumbles and is taken down shortly after as Joseph down the field with the original contact. Well, lock it in. Rest of your Friday night right here on TSN. We got a good one. Good atmosphere on a Friday night in Calgary at McMahon. Great sing-along song, isn't it? Tough not to join in right there, I'm not going to lie. They'll give it to Carey. Short pickup on first down. Delicate was down there to wrap him up.
We got a good stop there on first down. You know, it just when you look at the yards accumulated on the ground for Calgary, it's uncharacteristic for Mark Washington's defense. And the best against the run coming in. But again, without Micah Johnson,
I was just going to say,
he is
it
such
just shows, right?
Important piece of it. Anchor in the middle.
5 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss this season for Johnson. Near side, Kadeem Carey hauls it in. He's got a first down, and he'll take it all the way out just shy of the 40. Nicks him in through the air and on the ground, and he's got a first down for the Stamps.
Yes, Deontay Evans is the first to get there. And remember what I said earlier about the fact that the first guy in a wide field throw to the back has got to get outside so that he can contain him. Don't let Carey get outside, but look at how far outside he got. He was so worried about allowing Carey outside, he gave him a lane to get that first.
From the 38, Logan back in the game on first down again. And 4 yards for Logan. 2nd and 6.
He's a little slow to get up here.
Now heavily involved in the punt return game as well. Helmet is off, and they will start looking at his lower body. He's been good. 7 carries, 51 yards tonight. A little bit better than his season average of 6.4. Kadeem Carey watching on. We'll take a quick pause here from McMahon as they take a closer look at Peyton Logan.
You're fan your own. Let's play. Let's play. All right, let it go. Come on.
Who I gotta talk to about a heater? I know, exactly. That's why I need that bit on.
I really do like y'all. Like I do. I love y'all actually.
Don't miss next week's CFL Wired episode, bringing you exclusive access to the latest CFL highlights. Catch it Wednesday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on TSN. Mayer out to his left. Pressure in his face, trying to get away, and he won't. Taken down just inside the 40. Julian Hauser is there to finish him off. His 7th sack of the season.
Yeah, grabbed him, got outside, didn't let Jake Mayer get out and around the edge here. And Hauser down at the bottom of your screen, or at the corner, he's going to get wide here. He plays the run, redirects, and then goes for that inside, grabs on and hangs on. Now there's the line. Remember we talked about the line, how he twisted him around there? Didn't sling him down.
Just kind of took him back down.
Just took him down and twisted him a little bit.
Grace, got it away just in time. That was awfully close. Woods takes it. 56-yard kick. Looking for some room on the far side of the field. Stumbles and is down.
It's a great play. Daniel Omoko on that special teams play.
Holding. Hamilton, number 91. 10-yard penalty.
We've got the leader in special teams tackles in this game, and Silas Stewart, the backup linebacker for the Calgary Stampeders. But we've seen Woods with some big returns this year, and he almost had the corner there.
Just running for dear life, trying to cut him off, beat him to that corner. And they managed to contain him on that one. Going to be backed up a little bit further here as well after a hold on the return. It is at the Hamilton 7.
Special teams truly 1/3 of the game in Canadian football. We saw the middlemost play. That turned into a field goal, make it a 1-point game. That big tackle, look where Hamilton's starting from.
64-yard swing on the kick and the flag. Hamilton on their own 7. Up by 1. Evans over the middle. Big completion. Drops it in a bucket just outside the 20 to Dunbar. And now they've got some breathing room.
Yeah, Dunbar finds a hole, and Dane Evans stands confidently in his own end zone. Blitz coming, picked up nicely. He feels the backside pressure coming, but he finds Dunbar for a 16-yarder to get him out of the hole. That's big. That was Kobe Williams and Sean Lemon coming off the edge.
Second catch of the night for Dunbar. He's gone for 38 yards. 3 receivers to the right. Evans dumps it back off to Hills, and Hills pushes his way up. Ball post. Listen, Calgary hot on it. We've talked about turnovers multiple times tonight, and this time Sean Lemon comes up with one.
One of those underrated linebackers making a play. I believe it's Jameer Thurman that's going to put the hit on Hills. It's the screen. It's set up nicely. It's a good gain, and it's all working for Hamilton here, coming out of their own end. But look at the hit. There it is from Jameer Thurman. Ball is out. Sean Lemon was on the pass rush, on a screen, redirects, gets back there, and is around the ball to recover it. Look at Lemon up at the corner of your screen, and then he hustles back to recover.
Got there just in time, right before Revenberg. Now they'll hand it off to Kadeem Carey, right up the middle. Everybody's going to come in for a push, and they'll give him 6 yards on first down. Second forced fumble of the season for that man.
Needed that. Y'all good? Good shit, boy. Okay. Yeah.
That's all you're going to get.
Hey, that's what we do.
We need it.
That's what we do. What he made play now.
Second fumble recovery of the season for Sean Lemon, who picked up his 13th sack earlier in this game.
Boy, this run here was tough. There's Santos Knox showing you a little Jameer Thurman, and Santos Knox driving him back, but not until it was a 7-yard gain. It's pretty good production on first down.
Mayer looks to his left, has some time, looks down towards the end zone, and that'll fall incomplete. Dukes was there working against Evans, and Evans remains down on the field. You can see he's holding his left ankle.
Must have been a zone look, because that's the slot back. Evans is the corner, and if you're playing man-to-man, that corner is going to have the wideout. So yeah, they just switch up, and you see Evans. I was wondering if there was a little bit of a pull there by Dukes, the way that Seontae Evans went down. Well, this angle might show. Not really.
You can see where he went over on his ankle, kind of stepped on Dukes, who was going down as well. And he is down in the end zone as they continue to get an early look at it. Hamilton leading on the road 24-23, just over 7 minutes remaining in Calgary. Two-time Academy Award winner Hilary Swank stars in one of the most anticipated dramas of the season, Alaska Daily, all new Thursday, 10/8 Mountain, only on CTV. Evans is up, but with a significant limp as he heads off. There'll be a field goal attempt just outside the 40 for Paredes. Less than 7 minutes to go. He's 3 for 3 tonight. This one for the lead. Yes! Paredes puts Calgary on top. He was 4 for 4 in week 2, 4 for 4 tonight. His team leads 26-24. For a little bit more on Jameer Thurman and Sean Lemon, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, that field goal courtesy of the dynamic duo. And really, if you're Jameer Thurman, when you're done playing, you might have a pretty good career as an agent, because he has spent a lot of time promoting both Lemon and also Cam Judge as candidates for Defensive Player of the Year, and in Judge's case, also Canadian of the Year. But I asked him, what about you? And he said, I'm not comfortable promoting myself, but I'll tell you, his coaches are absolutely willing to do it. They talk about the respect that he's got in the locker room. Brent Monson tells me that he's basically another coach out there, and when he's in the lineup, because he's missed 3 games with an injury, it makes it so much easier for him, especially with he and Brandon Dozier. He says Calgary is playing their best defense right now with those 2 in the lineup, leading the way and communicating to the front 6 and back 6.
Well, that was Dozier who just came in over the top of Dunbar with a big catch and a first down here for the Ticats.
Big play by Dunbar to get this drive started. Obviously Sean Lemon's going to be in the conversation for outstanding defensive players. Second in the league coming in with 12 sacks. Got that fumble recovery. I put Jameer Thurman in that discussion.
Oh boy. Now this is bobbled. White turns around and is able to fall on it as the Ticats trying to get it into the hands of White. We're going to rule it an incomplete pass.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it's incomplete because it doesn't matter if it's underhand. As long as it's going forward, it's considered a forward pass, and if it's dropped, it's incomplete. But trying to get a little tricky here. A little fake to Johnson going one way, coming back to Tim White the other. That underhand throw, which is a forward pass, incomplete.
Looks like one of the plays I have with my son in our basement. Hey, same result.
You execute it the same way?
Yeah, exactly. He's got to work on his hands. That's what I always tell him. Pass was fine from Daddy. Here's Evans out to his right. Flag on the play as he takes off on the run. Throws it in the feet of an intended target just to get rid of it. But there is a flag on the near side of the field.
Illegal contact. Calgary number 7. 10-yard penalty. The result will be a first down.
Davian Elliott's first time we've mentioned his name tonight. Don't want to be brought up in this situation.
Well, it's weird because I'm looking at Dane Evans, and I thought Dane Evans had Wes Hill, bottom of your screen. There's your illegal contact right there. He thought the throw was going that way and ran into Anthony Johnson.
Hamilton down to the Calgary 44. Evans with time. Down the field, tight window, and he finds his man, Tim White. What a throw by Dane Evans.
Did he thread the needle there or what? Jonathan Moxey had fallen underneath this throw. The corner, now Evans thought the corner and Moxey was out of it, but he drops underneath this and Dane Evans threads the needle.
From the Calgary 30, Evans looking for it all to the end zone, and it falls incomplete. Johnson was there, defended well, and it falls incomplete. Muhammad in coverage there against Anthony Johnson.
This is second down. Let's go back to that throw from Evans. Again, the guy's off to a slow start tonight in the first half. What they have, 14 plays or something like that, but they've got it going in this second half, and that throw, outstanding. And this one, sure, he just thrown that away.
Second and 10. Flags again. Evans dumps it off to Johnson. He's wrapped up right around the line of scrimmage. Kobe Williams on the tackle. But this one's going to be coming back. It's against the Ticats.
Well, it was really
procedure, no end. Hamilton. That penalty is declined. Be third down.
I was going to say that'll because there was no gain, that's going to be declined, so that this is where
bring up the third down.
Exactly.
Paredes had put Calgary on top. Seth Small called back into action here. He's 3 for 3 tonight. Paredes is now 4 for 4. Small looks to join him. He hit from 57 earlier in the half. This one from 36 to put the Ticats back up on top. And he is good again. As clutch as they come, this guy. Over 90% on the season. 2 of them from beyond 55. This one from 36. And we've got a 1-point game.
So the Ticats fighting for their playoff lives and fighting off the crossover from Saskatchewan. They're a win behind. If they win this one tonight, they will tie Saskatchewan in wins, and they've got Ottawa back-to-back in the next 2 games. Calgary still fighting with the BC Lions for home field advantage in the semi.
Lions have the tiebreaker in that setup.
Exactly.
So, yeah, this is a pretty big 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Mayer, incomplete, bounced it in there for Begelton, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Monster call here. What does Dave Dickinson have? You know, if you're going hot hand, you know, Begelton is always a good choice, but you're going hot hand, Jalen Philpott might be a nice little bubble screen. Mark Washington, it's like right now he's dialing up 3-man pressure up front.
Mayer, near side, Begelton wrapped up and taken down before he could get to that first down marker. They're going to be 2 yards short at least.
It is 2, isn't it?
It's 15.
We've got a great finish coming up here at McMahon. Ticats leading 27-26 as we hit the 3-minute mark of the 4th quarter. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow with back-to-back evening matchups in the East versus West battle. The Argos take on the Elks, followed by the Blue Bombers and Lions showdown. It all gets underway 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on TSN. And they've got a lot to live up to because we had 2 pretty good football games here tonight in our Friday night football doubleheader.
Well, Dave Dickinson took an extra minute there to decide whether or not to go for it.
He was messing with us. He was messing with us. They had him out there for a while. Now they do bring out Cody Grace. And he'll kick it away. Woods waits for it. Takes it on the 6. Woods makes a couple of guys miss. After a 56-yard kick, takes it back out to about his own 13-yard line. And now a chance for Dane Evans to seal this thing away.
You know, and not only the playoff picture and everything, we got talking about the 2:37 left on the clock that Dane Evans, by the way, I love the, you had to punt there, I think.
Yeah, you could.
Dave Dickinson, you put your defense out here, they get it 2 and out, you get the ball back with time.
You got the wind at your back, and it's a strong wind at your back. And a kicker who's 4 for 4 so far tonight.
And a defense that's played pretty well over the last month and a half.
All right, what do you got, Dane Evans? Here we go. They'll hand it off. Hills pushes ahead. Good chunk on first down. 7 yards. They'll set up a very manageable 2nd and 3.
So Coach Steinauer fighting to get the win, to get the 6 wins, which is exactly what the Rough Riders have over in the West. Montreal clinched a playoff spot with their win earlier tonight. So Toronto and Montreal have their ticket punched. Not sure exactly what order or who will host. That's not decided yet.
Still to be determined over the next couple of weeks. 2nd and 2. Hills picked up 8 on that first down carry. Back to him again. He is stopped short. What a tackle. Was that Thurman? It was.
Yeah, it was. And this time he just, you know, usually you see a linebacker that will scrape to the hole and then hang out in the hole. Watch Thurman shoot the gap. He knows he's got to get some downhill momentum to try and stop Wes Hills once he gets started. So get him in the backfield before he gets started.
Wow. The Ticats are leaving their offense on the field here. 3rd and 1. Just outside. It even looks a little bit longer than 1.
Yeah, it's almost 2.
It looks like 3rd and a.
I think Steinauer is probably thinking that a punt into this wind is not going to travel that far anyway.
3rd and 1 here for Evans. They hand it off to Hills.
No, he didn't get it.
And they turn it over on downs inside their own 25 with 1:46 left and a 1-point lead. And you wonder why they haven't won here in 18 years.
Well, not only is it, it's an interesting decision to go because it was a long two, but this is a deep handoff. That's about 7 or 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Hills stumbles before contact. He tried to break to his right, and he stumbled before contact, and Dane Evans is saying the play was designed to go right off the left side. Why did you try to cut back when we needed to?
Calgary takes over on the Hamilton 21. Mayer, near side, completion, short gain as he gets it to Dukes, who had his first CFL touchdown earlier tonight. Minute 40 on the clock.
You always want to give your tailback a chance to be able to make a play, but there's times when you got to just get your pad level low and hit it on the soft spot, which was the left side of the. That's exactly where it was blocked, was to try and block off the left side.
Had a wall there.
Slide the wall that way, and Wes Hills tried to cut back and stumbled.
2nd and 6.
Timeout. Calgary.
Calgary takes a timeout. Hamilton, so far this season, when leading heading into the 4th quarter, they've led 9 times. They've lost 5 of those games. They still lead here right now, but Calgary is in a very good spot with 1 minute and 21 seconds left.
Yeah, and to go for it, so it's a long yard. And talk about the decision from Coach Steinauer. I think if he punts, he's punting from where? Probably they're standing on their own 10.
Into the wind.
Into a strong wind. You're giving Calgary the ball back almost in field goal range anyway, maybe 10 yards away from it. I guess you give your defense a chance. So
snap it in the shotgun, though.
Shotgun with the deep handoff.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. 2nd and 6. Big play here. Mayer looks to his left. Throws to his left. Has a completion. It's Dukes. Stays on his feet. Taken out of bounds at the 5. Another huge play by Trey Dukes.
Yeah, and he's got 2 tonight, but Richard Leonard kind of got in between on the break. This is another nice outcut, and Leonard's going to break on it. Dukes has got 1 touchdown, but watch him break on it thinking maybe I can get a third. Is a little bit late, and then because he swiped at the ball, he didn't secure the tackle, and Dukes turns the corner.
12 yards for Dukes. Calgary will work from the Hamilton 5. 1st and goal. Kadeem Carey in behind Jake Mayer. They'll give it to him. Carey trying to find the end zone, pushing ahead, reaching towards the end zone, stopped just short, inches away.
Well, he was pushing almost the entire defense.
Hamilton.
Coach Steinauer is going to have to use his timeout. Delicate came off the edge and didn't get there, and yeah, down by contact before that ball crossed the plane.
Didn't look like he was going to have a shot at all, but he pushed hard towards the end zone. Tommy Stevens will come into this game. He's finished the job 7 times already this season. Dane Evans watching on after a turnover on downs at his own 21. Stevens, a quarterback keeper for the lead, lunging ahead, and he's in. Touchdown, Calgary, and the Stampeders go back on top, courtesy Tommy Stevens, 8th touchdown of the year. Very efficient in these situations. Stevens plunging ahead, no doubt about it, certainly there. And now they will go for 2. They lead by 5.
Let's go, man.
This would put them up 7.
Good shit.
The good news, I guess, if you're the Ticats, you're going to have some time. You're going to need a major, but you got some time.
Yeah, a couple of chunk plays will be needed from Dane Evans, but sure Calgary has the didn't have Kadeem Carey in the lineup.
And they will.
He didn't know they were going for 2.
Time count violation.
They were calling him back out.
Calgary. 5-yard penalty. We'll redo the convert at the 8.
And back him up to the 8. Kadeem Carey was just on the sideline waiting. Jake Mayer yelling towards the sidelines. Got to send him in. A little bit more work to do now to secure a 7-point lead. Kadeem Carey will stand next to his quarterback. Dukes and Philpott to the top of your screen. Mayer with a quick glance that way, now over to his right. Throws it incomplete. Bain was looking for a flag. Nothing is there. And it'll be a 5-point ball game.
Yeah, and Sean Bain was signaling to Dickinson to challenge. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he has one. I don't think he does. I think he's used his timeout, so he doesn't have a challenge. And
We got it covered. Let's go. Let's go.
but there is time.
Jake Mayer, 26 of 35, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Tommy Stevens punching one in on the ground, and Calgary is on top, 32-27. Dane Evans about to get the ball back. He's 13 of 21 for 183 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. A fumble by Hills is the only turnover the Ticats have had tonight, and they still find themselves trailing by 5 here on the road.
Lawrence Woods back there with Sean Thomas Erlington. Do they kick it away from Woods?
Paredes gets set to boot it away. Up 5. Calgary lets it fly. They will kick it to Woods. He takes it at the 9. Back to the 20. 30 and more. Makes one man miss to the 40. All the way down the near sideline and eventually forced out of bounds. Inside the 50. What a return from Lawrence Woods. And that's why we question if you kick it away from him.
That's right. Exactly. Do you kick it to him or do you not kick it to him? And you know, I've seen many times where a special teams coordinator will say, hey, I have confidence in my cover team. We're kicking it to their best guy. Well, Woods said, okay, let me show you what I can do with it.
Haley Buka was there to make sure he didn't take that one on a house call. Now 36 yards.
Now they have moved it back. It looked like he may have stepped out of bounds.
Well, it's at midfield.
But still, a great return with lots of time.
He stepped out of bounds and he was trying to get around Paredes. Evans starting right at midfield. Steps up now out to the right. Down the field. He's got a completion. Awfully close to a first down as he guns it in there for the first time tonight to Keandre Smith.
Well, Jameer Thurman is everywhere. He has been everywhere tonight. Playing linebacker, in the backfield, causing fumbles, stopping in short yardage, and here's another tackle.
2nd and 1. They get it back to Hills. This time he pushes ahead. This time he's got the first down with just under 40 seconds on the clock.
Again, 3 or 4 plays, depending on the play call and the efficiency level.
Whistle blows, clock ticks. 3 options to the left here for Evans, 2 to the right, and some early movement by his right tackle, I believe.
Procedure, Hamilton number 69.
That is Colin Kelly.
Penalty, 3 first down.
That'll back him up 5.
Rocking back, getting ready for pass pro. You see Ramalade just kind of went down. He didn't go and put his hand down on the turf. He just kind of kneeled down. Pretty tricky little play there to draw Kelly offside.
1st and 15 now for Evans. Looks way down the field for White. Did he haul it in? Come on! What a play! Tim White goes up and gets it. Incredible.
He's double covered. He is double covered back there. Brandon Dozier's back there with him. Dane Evans says, I need a chunk play. I'll go to my guy.
Got popped at the end of it and held on as well. Hamilton knocking on the door. Clock ticks down inside 20. They trail by 5. Evans to the end zone. Touchdown. He goes back to White and the Ticats go on top. Hamilton 33. Calgary 32 with 11 seconds on the clock. A game-winning drive from Dane Evans.
Oh, man. Think about the drought here at McMahon Stadium. The Hamilton Tiger Cats haven't won here in years. And they go back-to-back to Tim White, who takes back-to-back hits, but hangs on. Money for number 12.
Think about if Calgary would have got that 2 points.
But there is always time. The final 3 minutes in Canadian football. Get out of here. That's outstanding.
It's very fun. It's very fun. Now they're going to look for 2. Evans out of the shotgun, takes it quickly to his left, throws to his left, and that's a tight window, but he's got it. Guns it in there for Anthony Johnson, and the Hamilton lead is 3, 35-32. The Ticats, after turning the ball over on their own 21, regroup and lead a game-winning touchdown drive.
Big fourth quarter for Dane Evans. And what a drive. And a couple of huge throws. Tim White, the big one to set up this touchdown. Back to Tim White. He gets hit hard here, right where the ball is from Dozier. The last time they won here, gas was 75 cents a gallon, our leader. That's how long ago it was.
It's been a long time. You have to go back to July 4th, 2004. McManus, 4 touchdown passes, 358 yards.
Now, gas is always cheaper in Alberta than anywhere else in the country.
But still, that's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
Now, does Hamilton decide to squib kick it here? Kick it along the ground. That usually takes a couple of extra seconds. The problem with it is, if one of those frontline guys gets their hands on it and they don't get it deep, you're in field goal position already. So there is risk to squibbing it. Let's see what Ticats have drawn up here.
Hamilton with a 3-point lead. They will drive it low. Picked up. And now it's going to be booted back the other way by the Calgary Stampeders. Scooped up, clock ticks down, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to win in Calgary for the first time in 18 years. Dane Evans comes up huge at the end of this football game, and the Tiger Cats playoff chances getting a huge boost here tonight. Let's take a look at your Advil dual action play of the game.
Honorable mention to the pick six by Richard Leonard, but with basically 11 seconds on the clock, back-to-back catches by Tim White. This was the touchdown catch, the go-ahead points for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And they bumped the slump here at McMahon Stadium.
I loved the final 3 minutes of this football game. Hamilton Tiger Cats needed this one in the worst of ways, and they got it done when it mattered most. Picking up the first victory at McMahon Stadium for this organization in the last 18 years. Playoffs, very much a possibility for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's going to do it for us. Good night from Calgary. Let's send it to SportsCenter.